Hey everybody, this is Ryan Strawman here with Devil's Advocate, and the purpose of this series of videos is to essentially spark a debate between both sides in a civilized manner. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Brett Kavanaugh situation and whether or not it's really over. So, Brett Kavanaugh. We now know that he is the newest member of our Supreme Court Justice. And now that the process is over, it has left a lot of Americans feeling angry, frustrated, and disconnected with the American judicial system. That's why I have 5 reasons why Brett Kavanaugh may not be right for the Supreme Court. Point number 1, you have to believe victims. These allegations happened around 36 years ago, and that's what makes a sexual assault so terrible. There's little to no physical evidence, and the longer you wait, the more likely it is that that perpetrator will get off. So, what evidence do we have? We have her testimony. Her testimony in court was both moving and poignant, but ultimately, this will likely remain a he said, she said. So what do? We side with her. Now, it's unlikely that we can get a prosecution with the evidence that we do have, but the fact that she came forward, put her family and herself at risk, should be enough to determine the validity of her statements. Now, at this point, if you're on the right, you can probably say that we're just hedging our bets. Well, it's probably a good idea to hedge your bets in the right direction. Considering that only 2 to 8% of rape allegations are false, should give you an idea of who's in the right here. Point number 2. Proof and inconsistencies. Now, we all know that memory is not an infallible thing. It can be flawed, it can be broken, but trauma is real. Many people have pointed to the inconsistency in Dr. Ford's stories as evidence that she's falsifying the story. However, just because you know something happened doesn't mean that you know everything that happened. The phenomenon of flashbulb memories are well documented in psychology, and when a stimuli occurs that is potentially salient, what that means is that memory can be easily recalled while the circumstances both leading up to and after it can be blurry. This doesn't mean that the flashbulb memory, or any memory, is inconsistent or false or even fabricated. In fact, it can lead us more in the right direction to determine whether or not this trauma has actually occurred. Just because Dr. Ford doesn't have all the answers doesn't mean that she's lying. And on the topic of lying, Dr. Ford did pass a lie detector test given to her by her legal team. Topic number 3, temperament, beer, and too conservative. Now, if you've watched the hearing, there's not a whole lot that I need to explain here. Judge Kavanaugh was aggressive, belligerent, and explosive during his testimony. In addition to Judge Kavanaugh's demeanor, his drinking was likely lied about during the hearing. Judge Kavanaugh has multiple people adhering to his good nature and well-temper throughout his career. However, several people have come out to say that Judge Kavanaugh drank heavily around them, and he's lied about how much that affected his demeanor, even in high school. Kavanaugh's supposed to be an impartial judge. His demeanor, as well as certain records about decisions he's made in the past, have recently come up and brought into question how impartial of a judge he's actually been. My 4th point can be put simply as railroading. From the beginning of the hearings, the Republicans have used their slight majority to push through any decision that they see fit. The Republicans have been open about their disdain for an FBI investigation, and Brett Kavanaugh himself has been vague about whether or not he would like to participate in one. Now, an FBI investigation was done, but the problem with the FBI investigation is that it was limited. The Trump administration gave very little power to the FBI when investigating Brett Kavanaugh and the claims against him. The FBI took no new testimony from either Dr. Ford or Judge Kavanaugh. They also took no testimony from any of the individuals stating that Judge Kavanaugh lied about how much he was drinking both in his youth and through college. Because of the limited scope of the FBI investigation, it left a bad taste in the mouth of the American people. Point number 5 can be put simply as conspiracies. Kavanaugh has been open about his opinions that this is a targeted scheme from Hillary Clinton or other people who disagree with his politics. Others have suggested that Dr. Ford could have deep ties with the CIA, and that this could be a ploy by the deep state to try and rid the Supreme Court of a Republican majority. This leads to deep question about Judge Kavanaugh's ability to remain impartial. If he believes that the Clintons are holding a grudge so hard that they were willing to put him and his family, as well as Dr. Ford, through death threats, kind of a weirdo. In addition to all this, many have cited that potentially Roe v. Wade could be up on the chopping block. Now, this is a lot of hearsay, and there's no particular reason why this would be the case. And to be fair, Judge Kavanaugh has come out and said that he believes Roe v. Wade is already what's called settled law. However, considering this amount of paranoia with Judge Kavanaugh, it's also unlikely that he would say no to any further discussion on Roe v. Wade. In conclusion, I always think that it's fair to remember that while we disagree, it's important to be civil. So, this is a segment I like to call Giving the Devil His Due. These are 3 things that I think we can all agree with. Number 1, as Americans, it is our duty to stand up for the victimized and assure that they get justice. This includes investigating all claims of sexual allegations. Number 2, as Americans, we are more powerful united than we ever are divided. And as such, we need to stand by the decisions made and keep a sharp eye out for tyranny. And finally, number 3, treat yourself with respect. When protesting, when voicing your opinion, be respectful. Don't act like this. Really, it makes us all look ridiculous. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. If you would, please leave any thoughts or comments below. Let's spark some good debate. If you want to hear the devil's advocate side of the argument, go ahead and click on my guy right over here. And remember, do not like this video. Do not click that bell, okay? All right. Remember everybody, be excellent to each other.